what I've been asked recently is what are great sealed products to pick up going into 2024 or at the start of 2024. Now we're right at the end of 2023, literally Christmas is just around the corner. So what are great sealed products to start looking at going into 2024 in the long run? Because there's a lot out there. Some of them are at really good prices, some of them are going up, some of them are going down. What are the best ones? Well, we're gonna have a chat about it. Get into it. Alright guys, we're gonna have a little bit of a chat today about sealed product and which sets do I think are going to be good for the long haul, especially in 2024. Now there are a ton of amazing sets out there to pick up right now. Now as a rule I tend to go for booster boxes. Of course you could choose to go for ETBs or tins or whatever you feel like. I do feel like there are some products that are just better than others. Personally I don't tend to go for normal set ETBs unless they're the Pokemon Center version, and I usually go for premium collection boxes rather than just your regular EX or V collection boxes, because some of them aren't very good. The first thing I want to talk about is the specific sets that I think are going to be very good moving forward. So one thing I will say is just Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield it's kind of now or never, to be honest, with Sword and Shield. They have done with all the printings of all the sets. We've had the final reprint of the last two sets, Silver Tempest and Lost Origin. Both of those sets were getting expensive and they now dropped in price. Starting to bounce back up already, so it'll be really interesting to see how they'll do in the future, but I feel like they'll do very, very well. Now, some of the other sets in the Sword and Shield era, the earlier ones, Sword and Shield Base, Rebel Clash, have already gone up to nearly $250 to $300 a booster box, mainly because of the rarity of them. You know, they're a lot harder to find now, you know, and they're old, so they've gone up in price. Now, a lot of the other Sword and Shield era sets, I think a lot of them will do well. I think there's going to be some that's going to be worse than others, like Dance and Blaze. I don't think Dance and Blaze is going to do very well. I don't think Pokemon Go is going to do very well. If you look back at the Sun and Moon era, and even, you know, the XY era, even the worst sets from those eras are still doing very well. You know, a lot of XY era booster boxes are in the hundreds, some of them are actually in the thousands. When we take a look at the Sun and Moon era, I mean, Team Up is an unusual situation, mainly because there was just so little amount of that product, is why it's over 2K a booster box. But you look at other sets as well that were heavily printed, stuff like Burning Shadows and Unified Minds and even Cosmic Eclipse. There was a lot of these sets that were printed back in the day, and those booster boxes were just the normal retail price that we pay now for our booster boxes. So, you know, they've gone up really well. You know, Cosmic Eclipse, what, $800-900 a booster box. Burning Shadows, we're looking at nearly $500. A lot of the Sun and Moon era booster boxes are around that $500 plus. And some of them are not really that good. I think towards the end, you started getting some of the tag team cards coming in, the tag team OR cards. Before that, you didn't. You know, heavily focused on the Rainbow GXs, which kind of what happened with Sword and Shield, right? You heavily focused on the rainbows from the Sword and Shield era, and then the alt arts came in Battle Styles. Now, I kind of feel like any set from Battle Styles onwards is going to do very well. Anything with an alt art in it and anything with the trainer gallery specifically are going to be very, very sought after. So things like Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, Silver Tempest, Lost Origin, those are what I would call very, very strong sets. They're very, very good sets to collect and invest in. Brilliant Stars have already shown strengths in the past by reaching nearly 200 a box. Lost Origin was nearly 200 a box. Silver Tempest did go up. Astral Radiance is going up pretty much across the board. All of them are going up. Even Battle Stars. You could have picked up Battle Stars booster boxes in the past for like $70 a box. It was crazy. $80 a box. Now it's over 100. I think it's like pushing 110, 115. It is going up over time. Now, as a rule, booster boxes or just sealed product tends to appreciate value over time every single year that passes. We go back to really poor sets of old, you know, in the Pokemon era, and they've gone up massively, and they're very, very sought after and expensive. Even though they don't really have massively valuable cards, it's just rarity. And I do feel like that's going to be the same with a lot of these sets. Now, Evolving Skies, however, has been a kind of weird one, similar to Team Up. Different to Team Up though, Evolving Skies has been heavily reprinted. Look, there isn't going to be any more reprints of Evolving Skies. Yes, it's expensive at $400+ a booster box, but if I'm being perfectly honest, it's only going to go up over time. That's how I feel. It may drop a little bit here and there, but overall, if we go over year by year or every 3 to 5 years, it will continue to appreciate in value quite a bit, and I do feel like it will be $1,000 a booster box. I really do think it will reach $1,000. So there are a lot of sets which you could be like, okay, so now do I buy into Evolving Skies? I mean, you know, if you've got the funds and you feel like you want to, then definitely. I do feel like there are other sets that you could look at which are very good. Chill and Rain, Fusion Strike, both of those sets are going up. They don't have trainer galleries, but they do have alt arts and a lot of fan favorite cards. They could have good you know, pretty much good returns essentially down the long haul if you want to add these into your collection. At the end of the day, Sword and Shield is probably the best to go for right now. Sun and Moon is already quite expensive. I don't see a lot of those booster boxes continuing to go up as fast. I kind of feel like they had a big boom, you know, at the beginning of this year, end of last year. And, you know, even the single card prices for Sun and Moon are starting to drop. Sword and Shield, you know, single card prices have already dropped. They might continue to drop a little bit more, maybe for the next 6 months or so. But the more and more we get into Scarlet and Violet, and then into whatever the next generation would be, we'll start to see what happened with Sun and Moon happen to Sword and Shield, and what happened to XY and Black and White, and so on and so forth. They will just continue to go up. So if you can get hold of some, you know, Sword and Shield era booster boxes, now's the best time. Personally, if I had to go for any, I would probably go for Silver, like any of the Training Galleries ones, right? Brilliant Stars, Astral, Silver Tempest, Lost Origin, Steel and Rain, Fusion Strike, Evolving Skies, Battle Stars. I think all of them are pretty good going. The holiday sets, I mean, as a rule, I tend to go for booster box sets and booster boxes. But holiday sets, Crown Zenith is going to be pretty good. Celebrations is going to be pretty good. Pokemon Go, Shining Fates, Champion's Path, they're kind of weak to get really. But yeah, I would probably focus on the Sword and Shield era. Now with the Scarlet and Violet era, it's slightly different. It is quite new. You know, these sets haven't been out very long. There is a ton of product around right now. Booster boxes are incredibly cheap. Even with the increase of MSRP, which I thought it'd be very hard to find booster boxes under $100. That hasn't been the case. We've been seeing Scarlet and Violet era booster boxes sell for 80. Battle Evolved for 80. You know, Obsidian Flames, I think 80, 85. So we're starting to see, and even Paradox Rift came out quite cheap. We've seen a lot of these sets coming out under $100. It's such a good time to pick them up. Like when they're this cheap, they're so good. And the thing is, a lot of people are like, yeah, but Jay says there's a ton of Scarlet and Violet around. There's a ton of Paldea Evolved around, Obsidian Flames. Well, there was a ton of Chill and Rain around. There was a ton of Fusion Strike around. Those booster boxes were $80 a box, $90 a box. Now look at them. 150, 160. They've nearly doubled in value, you know, over time. And this is what happens, you know. So no, I'm not saying every set will double in value, but some sets will do better than others. Like I do believe that Paldea Evolved would do better than Scarlet and Violet base. I do feel like, you know, Paradox Rift will do better than Obsidian Flames. There are a few sets that I feel like will do really, really well. 151, as an example, is a holiday, you know, set, no booster boxes, but it's such a strong set because it's, you know, nostalgia, you know, tough pull rates, which keeps the value of the cards up. That will be a very sought after set in the long run because people want to go back in time and go, you know what, I really want to crack open packs of 151. I really want to buy an ETB, or I want to buy, you know, Pokemon Center ETB, or whatever it may be, a UPC. People will want 151 in the future. Now, moving away from sets that have booster boxes, you know, when you start talking about other things like collection boxes, UPCs, I think the Charizard UPC is still very good product to pick up. I know there's been a ton of it around, but I do feel like it's really good. Similar to the Mew UPC, I think any UPC is really good. Celebrations, of course, is the more expensive one that a lot of people talk about, but that one hasn't really moved. The market value of that has pretty much stayed the same, and it hasn't really gone up much. It's kind of stayed pretty level. And I do feel like the Charizard one's really good. The 151's really good. I mean, even the Arceus one's not too bad either. That did come out as well. But there are a ton of great UPCs, and I think in the future when they bring out more, I think they're going to be great. Now, other products as well would be stuff like the Flareon, Vaporeon, and the Jolteon premium collection boxes. They're very good products as well. The Marnie Milk Card, the Marnie premium tournament collection boxes are very good. And I like to look at and collect, you know, kind of like unusual products as well. Things like the Pikachu figure collection box that came out with Celebrations. I do feel like that's pretty good, right? Or even the figure collections from Crown Zenith. I do feel like stuff like that's pretty good. The Arceus figure collection box. Figure collection boxes I do quite like. I know, I think if they got good packs in them, they'll do very well as well, which, you know, some of them you can tell have good packs, some of them you can't. With tins, I wouldn't say many tins are that great, to be honest. Now, again, it all depends what sets are in them. If they have Evolving Skies in them, they're going to do very well. If they have, like, Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin, they'll do well. If they've got Vivid Voltage, Dancer Blaze, and Battle Stars, probably not. But, you know, you just got to try and, kind of a guessing game, as it were, to see which ones have which packs in them, because you can't really tell. But, you know, some tins are okay. If you did want to, like, if your budget was, like, a little bit higher, and you do want to go back further, like into Sun and Moon, like, for instance, I still want to pick up some Sun and Moon booster boxes for my collection. There's quite a few which I'm still missing. There are some which are outperforming others. You know, we talk about things like Cosmic Eclipse, Team Up, Unified Minds, basically anything that has a tag team art in it. So basically things like maybe a Unified Minds onwards, so like Unbroken Bonds as well as another one. You know, sets like Lost Thunder, Celestial Storm, Forbidden Light, they're great sets and they have amazing cards, but they don't have those you know, big tag team arts that people are after. So kind of like the more back end of the Sun and Moon era are very strong. Hidden Fates, of course, is a very good one as well. It is a little bit more expensive over in the US than it is over here in the UK. But I think Hidden Fates, again, is another great set to look at going into, you know, 2024 and beyond. But for me, what would I be looking at picking up for myself? I would be looking at picking up some more Sword and Shield era before they start to creep up in price, because they will. And then Sun and Moon era, I would probably look at picking up the ones I'm missing from my collection. I like to just have one of each booster box from every single set, and you know, I kind of have that nearly with Sword and Shield. I think I'm literally missing Rebel Clash and Sword and Shield base. But then they're obviously a little bit more pricey. With Sun and Moon, I'm missing quite a few, so I may be looking at things like Unbroken Bonds I don't have Ultra Prism, I really want Ultra Prism, Lost Thunder and Celestial Storm. They are quite pricey, and of course Team Up, but they are quite pricey, and I do want to have them in my collection, but they will continuously go up in price. Obviously, the more I wait, the more they'll be. But it's just the way it goes. So I do feel like now's a great time to get Sword and Shield if you're going to be looking at going into, you know, long term. Everything now is going to be long haul, guys. We're going back to things were pre-pandemic and like the Logan Paul boom, which caused all the, you know, Pokemon products to shoot up in price. I do feel like, you know, we're going back to normal where we're getting new releases, and we've seen already a lot of supply meeting the demand. Cheap booster boxes under $100. You can't go wrong. Sword and Shield era was a golden age, I think, of Pokemon, just because of the pandemic made it so difficult to get supply of a lot of these sets. And yes, some of them did get reprinted and stuff and caught up, stuff like Shining Fates, but I do feel like it was such a big era, to be fair. I think it's a very strong era, very good, expensive, valuable cards across the board, to be honest, in the Sword and Shield era, and it has done a lot for the collecting side. And if you do want to think about from the investing side, then Sword and Shield is, in my eyes, a home run. Don't miss it before it disappears and goes up in price and becomes a little bit too pricey as an entry point for some of you guys, and even for myself. So it's just a little chat, guys, about what to get next year, or think about really what you might want to look at. Now, at the end of the day, I always say collect and buy what you like, because you can't go wrong for getting the things that you like, because I do that all the time. I like to collect the cards and even collect the products that might not necessarily have the best value or the most money or the biggest gains. I just get what I like, and if it goes up, that's a bonus. That's all, you know, that's one thing I would always say to you guys. But if you've made this far to the video, guys, and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash that like button and make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content. And let me know your thoughts down in the comments. What do you think is best to pick up going into 2024? It'd be really interesting to see what your guys' thoughts are for me and for everyone else as well. But now we're at the end of 2023. If you know what's been going on across the board in the single card market for this entire year of 2023, then make sure to click the video on screen right now. And if you watch more Pokemon content, guys, make sure to smash that subscribe button. We're on the road to 10k subs, so let's get there, guys. Alright, guys, that's it for me in this video. As always, you guys are legends. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.